When you look at yesterday when we were looking at the speech on TV, it seems that it could be understood that there will be a continuity, nothing is changing, everything is the same, but it's not the same. Because if you look carefully, this generation has its last chance practically. It's the last period for many of them who are in their high 70s, 80s. So they are getting old, the old generation is getting old, but getting old aware that they must prepare the scenario for the younger generation. So if the word transition that has been manipulated and used in many ways, there is a transition in this moment, preparing, paving the way for the next generation to take care within 5 years or maybe less, who knows. So this is very important to understand. At this moment, many measures will be taken. Things you have to rearrange, reorganize the state, the ministries, reduce the apparatus that is huge. It's something that we inherited from the Soviet Union, the Soviet model when we were members of the Comecon, that it was practically made a copy. We made a copy of that model, but now it's a time in which we are called for more efficiency, more planning, more organization, and to do what we can do. In one, if you can, read it in a different way, is dream with your feet on the ground. Okay, you can dream, but dream with your feet on the ground. We can do it, but maybe it would take 5 years, not 2 years, but to do what can be done and to give the people answers and to take actions that can be sustainable. Because it's one of the things that will give more credit to the people who will take the command in the future. To prepare that is very important, because the credit in many ways has been eroded, and they need to create the conditions, adequate conditions to to pass the responsibility to younger people who have less credit before the eyes of the people, the Cuban people, than they have, because we must bear in mind that this is a long-lasting generation. This is a generation that has been ruling the country for decades, and people are familiar with the faces and with them. Even, you see, in Cuba we use the first name. We don't use the complete name. Maybe in any other country in the world they call the president by his name. And that's a way to see that to see them like in a familiar way. So, what about somebody who comes after them with less credits? So, I understand this as a way to prepare this for them. And then when they get over, when they will be in responsibility, when they will be the next president, the next assembly, whatever, will be with the control of the island in their hands, they will have a better scenario to work with. One thing is that when you look at the assembly this time, there's more young people in the composition. People in their 40s. We have two extremes. People very old, but you have the majority now is around 40, and that is another good sign. And especially when the government, the top, is telling you, speak out, discuss, let's discuss everything, let's talk about everything, no limits to talk about to make things better. That's one of the changes. But some people say nothing is changing. A lot of changes have occurred here. Some of them are not publicized because that's another change. Less discourses, less speeches, and more action, and less promotion. So when the buses were running in Havana, only after, practically a month after, they were shown on TV. Before that, it used to be the opposite. To show the buses before they were in action. So they were working, and they are now in action. And of course, on TV, the aspects of the rearrangement of the transportation, the complaint of the people are now on the screen. Before this, everything was okay, everything was pretty, and under the table, people were commenting and complaining, and that never appeared. People never saw them reflected on the screen, on the newspaper, and for the first time, people see that somebody's talking about their problems. It's about my salary, I'm earning money, it's worthless, I have problems with housing, I have problems with transportation, I have problems with this. These are the key problems of the people. You ask people, and there will be some people, of course, that are interested in other problems. Is their problem. But the real complex problem, the national problem is that.
So, is the debate that we read about in the newspapers real? And can you give us an example of, if it is real, how it's real?
In terms of what was these assemblies that were taking place, of course. Well, for the first time, I mean, you can find people talking. At the beginning, people were shy, and it's like a lack of custom. People are not accustomed to stand up and not being interrupted or not being summoned because you're saying something that doesn't sound well. It's my opinion. And now it sounds as people are learning gradually, especially young people, and they are just following the instructions. We were told to talk, and we are talking. And they talk about everything. And gradually, when some of these basic and acute problems will be solved, other problems will appear in the agenda. And according to Karl Marx, when you change the base, you change when you change the infrastructure, you change the top. So gradually, things will be changing. It's a dialectic process. And we are at a moment in which something is not working anymore. The contradictions are acute, and then from that contradiction will emerge the solution of those problems. This is science. It's not my words. It's science. So this must change, whether you like it or not. It's